Matt Carriker didn't lose Demolition Ranch. He walked away from it. After spending more than a decade building one of the biggest firearm channels on YouTube, he reached a point where success no longer felt like enough. Millions of subscribers, thriving businesses, and a loyal community known as the Demolition had turned him into one of the internet's most recognizable creators. But behind every explosion, every experiment, and every viral upload, another story was unfolding. It was a story about family, responsibility, changing priorities, and the realization that sometimes the hardest decision isn't building something extraordinary, it's knowing when to let it go. Long before YouTube made him famous, Matt Carriker was simply a kid growing up in the Texas Hill Country. Born in 1986 in Boerne, Texas, he spent his childhood surrounded by animals, ranch life, and firearms. His father, Dr. Lee Carriker, worked as a veterinarian, and watching him care for injured animals left a lasting impression. Veterinary medicine wasn't glamorous. It meant long hours, difficult cases, worried pet owners, and a commitment to helping whenever someone needed it. Those lessons shaped Matt long before anyone knew his name online. That early influence explains something many viewers never realized. While millions knew him as the guy blowing things apart with powerful firearms, another side of his life was dedicated to putting things back together. He attended Texas A&M University's College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, where he trained to become a licensed veterinarian. During the day, he studied anatomy, surgery, diagnosis, and animal care. Outside of class, he began experimenting with something completely different: a camera, a few firearms, and a curiosity that kept asking one simple question: what happens if we try this? It was an unusual combination, but it worked. Matt didn't enter YouTube with a business plan or dreams of becoming an internet celebrity. His early videos were straightforward, funny, and surprisingly relatable. Instead of trying to impress viewers with flashy production, he simply shared his genuine curiosity. He treated every experiment like something friends might try together on a weekend in rural Texas. That natural personality quickly became his greatest strength. Viewers weren't just watching explosions. They felt like they were hanging out with someone they already knew. But here's what almost changed everything. In 2011, while still working toward his veterinary degree, Matt officially launched Demolition Ranch. One of his earliest videos featured him shooting an old computer monitor with a SPAS 12 shotgun. It wasn't polished, and nobody expected it to become the beginning of an online empire. At that time, YouTube looked very different. Creator businesses barely existed, monetization was unpredictable, and firearm content hadn't yet become one of the platform's most controversial categories. As the audience slowly grew, so did the pressure. Uploading videos was no longer just a hobby squeezed between classes. Every new subscriber expected another upload. Bigger ideas required more time, better editing, and more planning. For a while, YouTube threatened to distract Matt from the career he had spent years preparing for. Instead of chasing internet fame, he made a decision that revealed what truly mattered to him. He stepped back from filming and focused entirely on finishing veterinary school. It wasn't the exciting choice, but it was the responsible one. After earning his degree and becoming Dr. Matt Carriker, he returned to veterinary work before fully committing to growing his YouTube channel. That decision would become one of the smartest moves of his career. Unlike many creators who depend entirely on social media, Matt had something solid beneath the internet fame. If YouTube disappeared overnight, he still had a profession, a medical license, and years of education to rely on. The channel wasn't his entire identity. It was only one part of a much bigger life. And once he returned to YouTube full-time, everything changed. Demolition Ranch found its perfect formula. The videos weren't political speeches or technical firearm tutorials. Instead, they focused on curiosity, humor, and entertaining experiments. Could a certain material stop a bullet? What happened when unusual objects were tested against powerful firearms? How ridiculous could an experiment become before it completely surprised everyone watching? Those questions kept millions of people coming back. By the middle of the 2010s, Demolition Ranch had become one of the biggest names in the online firearm community. But Matt's success wasn't built only on firearms. His relaxed personality made the content accessible even to viewers who knew very little about guns. He laughed at himself, embraced the unexpected, and turned every experiment into an entertaining story rather than a lesson. That balance separated him from countless other creators. As the audience exploded, so did the opportunities. Brand partnerships arrived. Merchandise sales took off. The channel evolved from a hobby into a full-scale business. But what looked like effortless success from the outside was quietly becoming something much larger, and much heavier, than anyone realized. And that growing empire would eventually force Matt to make the biggest decision of his entire career.